What is going on, my Big Trucker B family? Red Big Trucker B here. Just kidding. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Add some lighting here. Oh, shit. Oh, it's still... Yeah. Holy shit.
Life's like a road that you travel on. There's one day here and the next day gone. Sometimes you bend, sometimes you stand, sometimes you turn your back to the wind. There's a world outside every darkened door where blues won't haunt you anymore. With a brave are free and lover's soul, come ride with me to the distant shore. We won't hesitate to lay down garden days. There's not much time left today. Life is a highway, I wanna ride it all night long. If you're going my way, well, I wanna drive it all night long.
Alright. Much better. Besides my hair, as usual. But I think I have fixed the camera issue going on here. And my lighting, well, my lighting still sucks because I'm not a professional YouTuber and I can't really afford good stuff right now. I'm just a truck driver. Now, I wanted to come and tell you all that. I didn't really want to tell you all anything. I just wanted to come talk on my YouTube channel because I figured I gotta talk about something. And that's what I'm gonna do today. So, for today's trucker video, I'm gonna talk about the first company I started out with. And if y'all watched my last YouTube video about me from becoming homeless to a trucker, well, y'all heard that I mentioned a company called ROEHL Transport. And that was the very first trucking company I'd ever worked for. This is not a good time to do a video, but I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna do this. Anyway, so the first company I ever worked for was a company called ROEHL Transport. I happen to like ROEHL Transport. They were really good. They did, and the reason why I chose them was because I wanted to kind of rush through things. All right, I started out with a flatbed, and I was looking in like everybody else, all these new guys, including myself, and I didn't know the research and everything else that happened. And guys, I'm gonna be a little embarrassed to tell you this, but I wanted to work for Werner when I first started. I know, it hurts me too. But I did not do that. In fact, I decided to go for good old ROEHL Transport. And they were not too bad. Like I said at the time, I'll make about $700 or $800 a week after taxes. But the problem was they had a lot of rules, regulations, of course, and a lot of little nitpicky stuff that I think could have been it just wasn't really good for the driver's welfare. All right, so here's the pros of Werner. See, got it stuck in my head now. Wow. Anyway, I had my red light on too. The pros of ROEHL was I liked the training. It was only 4 weeks of being out with a trainer instead of like typical 6 that you when you go out with somebody. And actually, mine was less, and they could do that because if they feel that you've got everything down, correctly, and they feel like you're going to be a good driver, you can go in for less. I think, yeah, it was technically 2.5 weeks, and now I was ready to be a mile truck. They did a little orientation and all that, and showed us how to use the Qualcomm, showed us how to tarp strap, but they left a lot of the training for the trainers. The training pay wasn't that good. Gosh, I apologize. It's been 4 years since I have been to ROEHL. But I remember they had me at a salary pay of like $100 a day or $200 a day. It wasn't really that much for a starter. Now, when I got into my first truck, all right, I was doing flatbed. I know you all are going to criticize and laugh at me for this one, but I actually was getting paid 36 cents a mile plus $20 tarp pay. Slave wages, I know. And a lot of these companies get away with doing that because they think, oh, well, first-time driver, but you don't have to pay him, blah, blah, blah. But I was getting the miles, and boy, I had one of the greatest fleet managers in Phoenix, Arizona. This guy, he took care of me. He gave me a lot of miles. He was great, and I enjoyed working for ROEHL until I didn't. So about 2 months into my thing, ROEHL at the time, I know they do now because they were just implementing, they didn't allow pets, so I couldn't bring my dog, and I wanted to get a microwave in my truck and a little mini fridge, but to do that you have to have an inverter. Well, in order to get an inverter into your truck, ROEHL would charge you $200, and it could be more, it could be less right now, to put, I gotta turn these Facebook notifications off, that always getting me when I'm in the middle of a video. Anyway, they would charge $200 to install a inverter. They're going to charge me money for driver comfort. Oh, and then the funny part is you had to use their inverter, and they got to keep it. So there's that. Now, I actually was lucky enough, I ended up getting into a truck that had an inverter, but even after they put the inverter in, you were only allowed to use it for 2 hours. Ain't that some bullhickey? So you couldn't really have like a TV or anything. You had to have this one inverter for 2 freaking hours. It was just stupid. And then it went to the truck idling. Now the truck idling, they would only allow for like an hour, or no, it was even less than that. And if it was over 80 degrees, the truck would stay on. If it was under, like, if I remember, it was like 65 or 70, or no, if it was under 65 degrees, the truck would stay on for heat and cooling. I'm sorry, but if you're in a truck that's 75 degrees or 80 degrees, it's still hot as hell. So I created a way to keep my truck going. I would put like a brick down there, a gallon of water, any way possible to keep my truck, on the throttle. Because if you try to press the cruise control, it didn't work. The truck always found a way to get shut off. And personally, I didn't like that so much at all. The second thing was about ROEHL, I didn't really like was their speed limit was only 62 or 63. And then they had the whole thing of the sleep apnea. Now, I'm a big dude, but at that time, believe it or not, I only weighed about 220 pounds only. Guys, right now I'm bumping 250, all right? And I feel, they call it big chunk of beef for a reason. So, I didn't consider myself big. They gave me this in-home sleep apnea test that you had to put on your fingers and stuff. But, they had to put on your fingers and I think your nose. Like I said, it's been 4 years, so it's been a while, guys. I apologize. And that shit came off of me in my sleep. And of course, I failed the sleep apnea test. And then I had to pay over $1,000 for a sleep apnea machine. Now, the problem with that was if I didn't use the sleep apnea machine, they would actually not let me work until my sleep apnea was in compliance of like 80% or 70%. 80% compliance. I know some ridiculous number like that. I hated that. It was so stupid that I was getting put out of work because I wasn't in compliance of a stupid sleep apnea machine that actually kept me up. Every time I put the stupid mask over my face, I couldn't breathe. I was up, and I was even twice as tired as like now. Now, well, my 5th year of trucking, I'm going on my 5th year of trucking, I sleep like a baby. After driving all day, first thing I want to do is go back into sleep and pass the hell out. Alright, I don't, honestly, to those who have sleep apnea, you know what, good for you. I'm not good for you for having it, but I don't believe in it, personally, my own personal opinion. Everybody can have their own story about it, but I don't believe in it. Excuse me. Now, like I said, guys, every company has its pros and cons. Those were my things about ROEHL I did not like. They always had good equipment. The trucks were alright. They had the International Pro Stars with the Max Force, which, terrible truck, but mine actually did alright. And one thing I loved about the truck was the space. They had the cabinets and stuff. And I actually plan on doing a tour of my truck. But let me just give you an idea of how big my truck is and why. I mean, I haven't done a tour yet. That's it. There's my bed. I can touch it. I actually have a very small sleeper. My sleeper is literally right behind my chair. And if you guys are like, "What is your bed made?" Actually, I have a bunch of little blankets like that, like it's like a little nest. My bed is made on the bottom of that. Like I have another blanket that's made. I keep a couple blankets above. You know, I don't gotta describe my life to you. You know what? Back off. It's my sleeper, my home. I don't gotta make my bed every single day if I want to make a YouTube video and show you guys about it. I'll make my bed when I do, or I'll make it nice and pretty when I do a little tour of my truck. But right now, I don't have enough lighting, and it's just, I don't feel like doing it. But anyway, guys, so yeah, that's my little story of the first trucking company I joined. I'm not gonna, if I would rate ROEHL from a 1 out of 10, or I mean 1 through 10, I'd give them, for a starting company, about a 6. I mean, you can make some decent money. They have good benefits, 401k and all that. And if you get the right fleet manager, well, they take care of you. And they're friendly people. But anyway, y'all, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please like. Help me build that subscription. And as usual, Big Trucker B, yeah.